That's fascinating because you see, in the Nagarjuna is so renowned in our tradition, and the first verse of his famous book, the Treatise on the Middle Way, is refuting that things can be produced from self, from others, from both, and from neither. Okay, and the roots of that whole tetralemma you can find in the Canon. Because I was just dealing with one passage where there was a naked ascetic, Kassapa, who comes to the Buddha and says, is suffering produced by oneself? And the Buddha says, no. And then he says, is suffering produced by another, by someone else, another person? No. Is suffering produced by both oneself and another person? No. Is suffering produced by neither oneself nor another person? No. So this naked ascetic Kassapa is going, huh? I don't get it. You said no here, no here, no here, no here. Don't you understand what suffering is? Which is like the biggest, thingy, 'cause everybody's got to understand what suffering is if you're a teacher, So he was really challenging the Buddha. And the Buddha said, no, I see suffering, I understand suffering. And so then the Kassapa said, well, please explain it to me then. And so then the Buddha said, that if you think that the same person created the cause and experienced the result, then that's a view of absolutism, because you can't have the same person create the cause and experience the result, because to experience the result needs change. And if it's exactly the same person, it doesn't change. Okay? And then if you see that the person, the agent and the experiencer are two different people, then that also doesn't work, because then there's no continuity between the cause and the effect. Then you can do something and I experience the result. And you can plant tomatoes and grow popcorn, So that doesn't work either. And both of them both of them don't work, because if neither one works, then combination of the two doesn't work. And neither of them can work because both of them are based on wrong assumptions. And so the neither is also based on a wrong assumption. Okay? And so there it is, like right in the middle of the Pali Canon. What I'm curious about is if some of these same sutras exist in the Tibetan canon, or if Nagarjuna read some of these sutras, extracted, it's very clear where he got his stuff from, got this, but only Nagarjuna made himself, his writings made it into the Tibetan canon. And it's very difficult to know, because the Tibetans very seldom read the sutras, and they don't really know much about the sutras. They mostly rely on the Indian commentaries, so you'll have some sutra passages in there, but of course it's from the Sanskrit version of the sutras. But the Sanskrit version and the Pali version in many cases are pretty much the same. Sometimes you have slight differences in them, at least on these basic sutras that are found in common between the two. Once you get to the strictly Mahayana sutras, then you don't find any kind of counterpart in the Pali canon. But it makes me wonder, and it's not something that I think my Tibetan teachers would know, because that's not how their study program is arranged in the monasteries. And I'm wondering if I can ask Eshidanam, because maybe somebody at Sarnath knows, because that's more of an institute or university. I should see if maybe there's some scholar there who's, compared some of the Sanskrit and Pali sutras. But it's just fascinating to see this kind of thing. Yeah? So that's why I'm late for lunch. And that's your motivation. I was going to talk something else about Middle Way, but that's it. You got it. Okay. So, but yesterday I came across, and it isn't just in one sutra that you find this. Yesterday I came across one where they were asking about feeling, you know. So, well, of course, suffering is a feeling, but I took it more to mean samsara, you know. But you know, because the other sutra was does pleasant feeling and painful feeling, yeah, are they produced by oneself, by someone else, by both, by neither? Yeah. So this can relate to our whole topic about the body. When you feel pleasure or pain, ask yourself, you know, where did the cause come from? And don't just say outside. Yeah. But it's yeah, it's real interesting. Finding so many interesting things here.